I'm going to address three rules for a good inclusionary zoning law. Richard gave you a wonderful summary of inclusionary zoning overall. I would just like to emphasize something that he said in my second point here. Inclusionary zoning usually is only a partial solution to affordable housing needs. And the amount of inclusionary housing is limited by market economics, what builders can provide while protecting profitability. I say a partial solution because even in that community, which has practiced inclusionary zoning for the longest period of time, and on the largest scale, Montgomery County, Maryland, a suburban county outside of Washington, D.C., where since 1976, they have produced 12,500 units of inclusionary housing as an integral part of market rate developments totaling about 90,000 units. And that program is 3 times larger than the second largest program in the United States in terms of inclusionary zoning. But even in Montgomery County, Maryland, those 12,500 units brought into being through inclusionary zoning represent barely a quarter of the total 44,000 units of price-controlled housing. So this is simply one element of what must be a comprehensive approach to meeting your community's housing needs. And also emphasize something that Richard said, where does inclusionary zoning work? It works in high-demand markets where builders have the incentive to make maximum use of high-cost land. Well, is that the Toronto area? I would say absolutely. Just to give you a very crude kind of affordability index, if you take the average family income, multiply it by 3, and then compare it, saying that 3 times their annual income roughly, and a rule of thumb is what they can afford to buy. And then compare that to the average home price, so that if the average family income was $50,000, they could afford a $50,000 house. If the average price being brought on the market for sale in that region, that metropolitan area, was $150,000, the index would be 100. Above 100 means that actually home prices are well within the range of that average family. Below 100 means it's beyond their reach. Well, looking at this list here, the Detroit area, which you folks know, it's the 35th most affordable housing market of the 150 in the United States. A place like Minneapolis is right at the break-even point. All these others, the index is dropping below 100, with Los Angeles being the least affordable housing market in the country. I calculated this figure on the basis of good data for Vancouver. They would be the 6th least affordable housing market if they were in the United States. I had to do some projections with regard to the data for Toronto, but you'd be somewhere there in the lowest third, in the third least affordable housing markets. Clearly, this is a regional housing market that meets those economic conditions. I'm going to raise 3 points.